but I would just click
Oh
on
god! Troll!
Troll.
I'm fucked! I'm fucked! I'm fucked! I'm fucked! I'm fucked!
Oh wait, I'm near you. I'm near you.
He hits hard.
Oh shit!
He hits really hard.
We hit murder.
Oh god.
Fuck, we should have got this on screen.
Oh my god!
I'm streaming.
Alright. Fuck him!
Oh my god.
Hey guys, Cainebourne back. Today I'm playing Citadel Forged in Fire. I'm very excited to bring this game to you. I want to show you this as sort of a sneak peek / review. This is a beta that is free for everyone on Steam for 24 hours. It will be over by the time you see this video, but I did stream the entire day, and that's because I had a ball playing this game. I've been playing almost 12, 13, 14 hours, something like that. It's crazy. Since 10 o'clock in the morning. I gotta say this game is awesome. I don't want to overhype it or oversell it, but I absolutely love this game and I want to make sure it gets the respect and attention that it deserves. It has been a little bit overshadowed by the preemptive release of Dark and Light, and I say preemptive because I think they released it earlier than they intended with a day's notice because they were afraid of this game coming out. In fact, they priced Dark and Light exactly 10 cents less than this game will be when it comes out on the 26th. And on top of that, they beat the free early beta that these guys did. And this is why I really respect Blue Isle as developers. Because when was the last time you saw an early access survival type game pop up on Steam where you actually got to try it before you bought it? So this has been full 24 hours of mayhem, craziness, and fun playing this game. And so these developers are very confident about their game. So this is my little base here. It's not much. It's very modest, but it's well built. I think it looks pretty cool. Here's my little respawn stone that allows us to spawn in the house. We've got support beams. We've got some nice stairs, different floors going on, a couple of trees growing through the wall. That's kind of weird. This is basically like your tool cabinet in Rust. This is your throne. Your house or guild is, or clan, whatever you want to call it. Mine is the House of Cain. This is the focal point of it. This is what allows you to claim territory, and this is why we own this base. This is some of my crafting stuff here. We've got this boiling cauldron where we can make all kinds of different potions, health potions, mana potions. This is the forge, which I think looks really, really cool. You can make all types of armor, amulets, jewelry. You can burn down your ore. This is your workbench. All these animations look really cool. This is the tailoring bench, and it, all of it has sort of a magical twist. This is imbued sort of with that magical energy. Really like the lava coming out of the forge. This is where you can deconstruct items, and we've got a bunch of chests in here loaded up with stuff. One thing you will notice about this game immediately, look at the little animations or assets here that we have, the animations that we have for all of these different items. Very unique and interesting, very cool looking. You can tell time was put into it. This is the first part where I see a difference between Dark and Light. This is also the Unreal Engine, but they didn't just take these vanilla assets and kind of just slap on a slightly different element. Things look completely different in this game, so that's cool. You've got first person, you hit tab, you can go into third person, and I really enjoyed that. So let's leave the house. We're not going to spend the whole video here in the house. And I want to cover as much ground as humanly possible in a short amount of time. So the overall look of the game is pretty cool. There's lots of exploration and different things that you can do. First off, I want to show you a couple things that I find are very, very cool about this game. Let's actually head into the menu first so I can explain a little bit about it. So when you press I, or you just click the little chest here after you've gone into the main portion of your inventory or your screen where you can kind of deal with everything. You have your inventory and you can sort it by the different categories, or you can just have it a simple inventory. That's what I'm actually carrying on me. This is my actual paper doll, what I'm wearing. Here are my different spells. Here is what I can craft either on the fly, or some of these things, if I actually click on it, it's going to tell me that it requires a cauldron or a forge or something of that type. The knowledge page. This is where we're going to spend the most time, and I'm going to try to get through it quickly, but I want to give you an idea for a pre-early access game what we've all been able to play around with. So first of all, you're going to pick, let's start from the beginning. You're going to pick from your different items. So there's 4 different weapons. There's the gloves, the wand, the staff, or melee. And they do escalate. I mean, melee ends up being a massive hellhammer or a scythe. The God King or the Raven Tusk staff, the Pirate, and the Sinkert's Death Hand. So they definitely get fancy, but starting out, you have a glove, a wand, a staff, or a melee weapon. My estimation so far, the glove is kind of cool because it penetrates and can hit multiple opponents, and it's more of like a focused beam over time. The wand is very quick and fast damage. The staff is for more AoE, and the melee is for getting up in close and powerful. We're going to get into spells in a little bit, and each one of these weapons has its own spell set that goes with it, which is cool. The armor is pretty unique. You can go all the way up through cloth, leather, or wild, but there's a little more than meets the eye here. Later on in leather, it becomes more like plate. Later on here, they just get to be real fancy robes. And the wild is all stuff made from bone or fur or eagle. I mean, any kind of animal you can think of, you can get some pretty cool, freaky looking armor. You've got a bunch of trinkets. I want to point out, I can't stress enough, get yourself a primitive magic ring ASAP. And once you get to where I am, you can be using an intricate magic ring. Let me just show you real quick as I start to blast a couple magic things here. Notice how my mana comes shooting back up. That's because of my ring. That is going to be incredibly important. As soon as you start playing, you're going to realize why. The bracelet and the necklace has certain effects. I think one is crit damage and one gives you spell resistance. And then amulets will give you health regeneration. You can only wear one of each at the same time, but there will be appropriate times to switch them out. Hop into utility. You've got your potions, health, mana, and vitality. When you first start the game, you're going to be picking up flowers as you go, and we'll try to find some of those real quick as I'm running here. But basically, you know, like something like this here. So when you pick up the flowers, depending on the type, that's a yellow pine. That's used to make cloth. The blue ones are going to be your bread and butter. Those are going to be used to go ahead and refill mana, and then there's red ones to fill health. So like here's a crowberry. That's a red one. If I eat one of those real quick, that's going to help me heal. Very quickly, you're going to be able to switch over to actually using potions. And the potions are much more efficient. As you get to better ones, you're going to need a cauldron, so on and so forth. You go forwards. Vitality's got a little bit of movement speed and health and mana. There's also taming, so you're able to control animals with a spell that I'll show you when we get to spells. But then once you've controlled them, you can increase the length of that with a binding scroll that you put on them, which I'll show you, and you can also ride them with a saddle. For flying, there's 2 different methods. You can fly on a broomstick, or you can fly with a potion. I don't really know what the advantage of either is. I thought with the potion it would be temporary, but you would be able to use a ring at the same time and regenerate. But actually you equip the potion, so I'm not sure why you'd want one or the other, but they look very cool. For structures, you've got 3 different types of structures. Or I guess epochs or classes. You go from wood to stone to ornate. You've got some decorations and trophies, and you've got defensive items. I guess these are like turrets and such. Over here, you've got all your crafting benches. You've got tailoring, crafting, alchemy. Here's your throne, which is your TC. Some interesting, cool things. You have these pools of mana or healing pools that heal you when you sit in them, but they burn through and they have to be manually refilled. You can eventually make a mana generator which powers them, so that's very cool. Storage chests, repair benches, you name it, all that kind of stuff. As far as then getting into actual combat, you've got combat spells that can be used with any of the weapons. You've got protection spells like running super fast, putting up a shield. You can extract resources with your wand, or you can pacify animals and take them over as pets, which I'll show you in a minute, and I talked about that. And then finally, as I promised, the staff, the wand, the melee, and the gauntlet all have a variation of different spells, which are pretty cool, unique. So my character happens to use wands because he thinks he's something like Harry Potter or something to that effect. So the wand, as I mentioned, is a very quick attack. So that's Arcane Blast. It only has a 0.2 second cooldown, but it also has this ice spell that kind of freezes them and slows them down. So that's pretty much what I switch between on this character. So let's get into something that's actually cool. Right now I've got my ring on. Let's equip a broom and show you what that looks like. So once you have a broom, you actually start levitating and kind of flying around. And you can actually fly pretty fast in first or second person. Notice my mana is being eaten very quickly, so you're going to want to tap your mana potions, which are on T currently is where I have mine. So that is a great way to get around. Now, another interesting way to get around is these potions. It actually costs a lot more mana, so again, I don't know what the advantage of, but it looks very cool. I'm basically Superman with this plume of awesome black smoke behind me as I'm flying. So those two things I think are going to be extremely popular with players. Here's some of those leaves, or I'm sorry, ghost orchids, plants, the blue plants that give you mana that I was talking about. Those are going to be your bread and butter. So you're going to want to collect a bunch of those. And like I said, try to make potions versus using the raw item, the food, or eating it, basically, is a horrible way to use them. This is how you go ahead and gather resources with your wand. So here I could get stone if I wasn't full. I can farm trees. All kinds of stuff. I like it. The main draw that I enjoy about that is that I don't have to sit there and click the button repetitively. Chop, 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 chop for hours on end. Another cool spell is this haste, which gives you like a temporary speed buff to run around really fast. Also kind of dig the way that that looks in first person. So you can kind of see the speed that's on there. So a lot of cool different things. That is the majority of what I've been able to unlock. Keep in mind, I played for about 10 hours and I'm only level 15. I wasn't purely just trying to level. I was trying to explore and understand the game. I want to show you some of the cooler monsters and creatures that I've encountered next, and some of the different biomes, just to give you a sense of what the game is all about. But overall, I think they've done a great job with making this engine their own. Even though this is the Unreal Engine, I feel like this is its own game, whereas Dark and Light to me feels a lot like Ark. I'm not just taking a dump on Dark and Light. I'm still going to play it. I still think it's neat. To me, though, this seems to be more of a unique game.
Dude, I'm just right up close to this fire guy. Oh my god, this thing is terrifying. Dude, his tail is like 40 feet long and there's an orc on it.
There's a lot of interesting and unique biomes that have their own ecosystems and unique flowers. For example, this part known as the Reach has things like these buffalo felt flowers that are rare leaves only found here that give you extra additional mana. This area is also filled with a lot of undead enemies that you won't find elsewhere, kind of ghouls and zombies and such, which is pretty neat. After you've explored extensively in order to get through these different large areas and biomes, you can find these different spires that are scattered across the map. There's enough of them to make it somewhat convenient, but they're still varied enough or separated enough that you still have to do quite a bit of traveling on your own. You're also going to have to get to them before you can unlock the additional ones. This here is a snow biome, which I think is pretty cool as well, which has again totally different enemies, a different aesthetic appeal obviously. I mean, it's snow, but there's some pretty cool stuff in this area. One of my favorite enemies to fight are these giants, and it's definitely advisable to kite them or to fight them from a flying position, as they can be incredibly dangerous. Another aspect of the game I'd like to cover quickly is taming. When you want to tame an enemy, you basically just have to make sure that you have enough mana to complete the Pacify. So you equip the Pacify spell, which is this guy here, which you can unlock. And basically it just charges up. You see that circle is spinning around. It's going to fill up completely blue. When it does, that animal will be mine. If you're flying above them or on a ledge or something, you're usually safe. Otherwise, they will be trying to kill you as you do it. When you see that spray off like that, that means now the creature is tamed. As I walk up, I can name him, so I'll name him Wolfie. If I had a saddle, I would be able to pop it on top of him and ride him. You can use him as storage, let him go, have him stay somewhere and defend, or you can have him follow you and defend. So now I've got myself a nice little wolf friend. This is nothing new. This is in quite a few games at this point, but it's nice that it's here. You can tame dragons, flying eagles. You can have flying mounts. You can also do bears, all types of stuff, really. I want to emphasize that the crafting in this game can become pretty robust. When you're making things like the flying potion, you need fairy dust and light essence from creatures and rune crystals. Some of the jewelry is going to take things that are much more difficult to find. For example, if I'm making an intricate ring, I need amethyst, iron ingots, rune crystals. So you're going to have basically mats that need to be melted down. You're going to have really rare items. You're going to be able to find amethyst crystals kind of far out in more difficult areas, like these giant geodes for amethyst. That's a really tough area. Other stuff you're going to find, you know, like most of the flowers inside of forests. Inside of caves is where you're, or either caves or on top of mountains is where you're going to find the precious stones that you need to make most of your magical weapons. So you're going to spend a lot of time gathering and battling over rare resources. And I do want to talk about the servers as well. There are PvE servers, there are some minor tiny safe zones, but there is quite a lot of PvP if that's what you're looking for, and so far it has been a lot of fun. If you see this over here, this is a safe zone. There are only a couple of safe zones on the map. In fact, there are only 3, which are these 3 here. And they have basically sort of a shield around them, so if I get close enough and I actually shoot it, you'll see that it actually deflects any oncoming damage. It also opens up kind of cool to let you into the safe zone. At this time, there's not much going on in there, except there's like a red pool to gain health and a blue pool to gain mana. But there I am shooting it, and then it has this really cool effect when it opens up to let you in. Players can strategically place their bases around areas like this that are natural mana or health regeneration pools. That's what this glowing blue water is. However, that is, of course, going to make you more of a target for players to come in, such as me. And then they'll want to go ahead and raid. What do we have here? Some precious stone, some dragon scale, nice health potions, all kinds of goodies actually. All for the taking. All in all, I think this game is a fantastic effort. I really applaud the developers for giving us a chance to try an early access game before we spend the money on it. Even though Steam has the refund policy, I just think it's a very cool idea for a developer to do this, and I hope more guys do it. But I can see why they were that confident, because this game is pretty freaking awesome. So I will wholeheartedly recommend this game at the price of $24.99. Pick this up on the 26th. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Please join me and play it, because it's awesome. I just love this game, and I want to play this game with a bunch of people. So thank you guys so much for checking out the video, as always. Until then, I'm going to be going out and hunting some treants and other magical beings and just having a general good time with this game. As a final closing side note, if you guys want to see more extensive gameplay, I have a bunch of live streams on the channel, several hours long. Skim through them.